Ayo review family, keep it high, keep it tight. It's Jay Morse, the review guy, back to bring you another video. And there was a big album that dropped not too long ago, Drake's album, Scorpion, and it didn't warrant a full album review from me because while I did listen to it, it didn't really strike me as an album that really warranted a full review. I was kind of ambivalent where a lot of the tracks were concerned. There were some catchy moments, there were some weak moments, and overall, if I'm being honest, there were just some other albums that took precedence that I chose over it because it would have been a very just kind of run-of-the-mill review. Me saying that some tracks were good, some tracks were bad. It was a mixed bag in my opinion, and while I can understand why it was popular, this is a video that I would much rather make than a full-on album review for the album. And so I have an article up, and I'm going to link the article in the description. But basically, before I get into it, I just want to say Drake's album, Scorpion, has been at the #1 spot on the Billboard 200, top 200 albums for 3 consecutive weeks. And this isn't unheard of, obviously. It's happened a lot before with other albums. But specifically now, the reason that I wanted to tackle this is because there's a lot of kind of complex nuance to this whole album. So right off the bat, the article that I'm looking at is from the New York Times. And basically, it's entitled Drake Scorpion is the year's biggest album, but can you find it in stores? And yes, that is true. Scorpion is the biggest album this year when it comes to sales, when it comes to streams, when it comes to pretty much everything. It's the biggest album of the year. And the thing that I'm wanted to talk about with you guys is I'm reading a couple things here, and I try to stay kind of in the loop when it comes to new music news, and I'm looking at this one thing, and it said, in the first 3 days after its release, June 29th, it logged enough streams, 435 million, to beat a record set by Post Malone over a full week. After 2 weeks, it reached rarefied territory in today's music industry, more than 1 million equivalent album sales. So, I don't think anyone can really buck at this point online music. Pretty much, I'm a CD collector. I enjoy CDs, but out of convenience a lot of times, because obviously I can't own every CD, I listen to a lot of music that I do for my reviews on Spotify. Spotify, everyone uses Spotify for a reason. I mean, it's completely free, and it's just a good tool when you can't physically get albums. But here's the thing about this album. It did amazing when it comes to streams. It did amazing when it comes to like album sales from that front, from the digital marketplace, because obviously most people find it the most convenient, the most economical to buy and listen to music online, and that's understandable because it is. And the thing that I wanted to point out, okay, copies of Scorpion, CDs only for now, plans for a vinyl release have not yet been announced. Became available on July 13th. That means the bulk of Scorpion consumption has taken place on streaming services, where 1,250 paid streams and 3,750 free streams equal one album. The rest were downloads. Its CDs haven't registered on the charts yet, and according to Nielsen, which tracks music industry data, Scorpion sold 8,000 physical copies from July 13th to July 17th, a relatively microscopic figure that's a powerful reminder of how little some artists need physical sales to drive their success. And yes, that's very true. I mean, if you go back in time before Spotify was around, before back when like iTunes was a fairly popular platform, or even before that, you would have gotten Drake albums that sold quite more than that physically. And it's the same thing with just a lot of other big album releases right now. I check my local stores to see new album releases. I try to stay up to date with what they have out, and I have not seen Scorpion. I have not seen Scorpion. The biggest album of the year is not physically at any place that I have seen. and that includes Walmart, that includes Best Buy, which they're purging CDs, but mine still carries some. I don't think they're doing new releases right now, though. I'm sure FYE has them. I haven't checked FYE, but it's an interesting and complex. I wouldn't call it issue, just a developmental change in the just overall music sphere. And this is something that I've covered quite a few times already on the channel, and that is just the physical copy versus digital copy argument. And I think this kind of puts it to rest that the majority of people are listening to music online now. This isn't going to stop me from like having physical music. I love physical copies, and the sound quality is better. But when it comes to convenience and just money, yeah, it's definitely more like reliable to listen to music online, because I mean, I can't tell you how many times on YouTube, and people don't need to put YouTube down. YouTube's huge when it comes to music. I think that I was watching an Anthony Fantano video, the Neil Drop, and I think he pointed out that YouTube has more combined music listens than any other like platform, even like music ones like Spotify, like iTunes, like any YouTube does. And the thing about YouTube is, a lot of times if there's like an album that I'm really excited for, I'll just stay up until midnight, because most album labels will release the songs from an album within that span of time, within like midnight-ish. Like Era's album, Neon. I'm definitely going to get that on physical copy. Love Era. They're my favorite band. But I'm probably just going to stay up until 12 to listen to the album when it gets released on Sumerian Records YouTube page. It's just how it is. It's convenient. It's easy. But it doesn't change the fact that physical copies are a thing. It's just they're a trend that has kind of faded a bit, and the ink kind of has settled on this type of debate where people have said one's better than the other. I don't think there's such a thing. That's my stance. If you came to this video wanting my stance on physical copy versus like digital copies, you'd probably be a bit surprised, because you would think that due to the fact that I have so much physical copy music, you would probably assume that I would be on that side. And while I do prefer physical copies, it's not something that I like openly will be like, okay, if you listen to Spotify, then you just aren't a true music listener. No, I don't care how you listen to music. Listen to music. It's subjective. I mean, I'm not gonna say that one's better than the other, because they're just different. I mean, it's at this point, it's like comparing Blu-ray to DVD. Yeah, I may think one has a better quality, but they're both ways to watch a movie. And I think CDs are the same way. I think that music's the same way. And honestly, whichever way you do it, that's fine. I don't care. I just kind of wanted to cover this, because I think that also another big thing about this is there just not as many good albums coming out in the pop marketplace this year? Because I have tried to cover more pop music and more like mainstream music this year, but at the same time, it really does seem like there's a lot less mainstream releases in the pop music type of realm that have been really good. And it's strange. It really is strange, because for this to be on the like Billboard 200 at #1 for 3 weeks, obviously Drake's big. He's a big artist, and this is a big release. He was bound to hit this, but with each week that he stays on #1, it kind of surprises me more and more. And is there just nothing else to compete? Is that it? Or is he just honestly just that good that it's nothing's really coming in the way? I'm not really sure. I'm not going to really comment on that. But overall, I just wanted to kind of cover this news with you guys. I wanted to go over it because I thought it was interesting. I thought it was kind of a neat subject matter for a video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. In the end screen, you can find my next video as well as the subscribe button. If you like and comment on this video, I'll shout your channel out, and please do, because it helps me out a lot. I'll talk to you guys next time, but until then, my name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.